The story begins with an unusual girl named Wednesday Addams. Even though she's young, she doesn't show many emotions and seems really interested in death. She's often seen in black and white clothes that look very gothic, which makes her stand out. On her first day at high school, she opens her locker, and her brother Pugsley is tied up inside with an apple in his mouth. When she touches him, she gets a vision of who did this to him. Wednesday isn't just an average girl. She has the power to know a person's history and future with just one touch. In the next part, she goes to the school's pool with 2 bags full of piranhas. She finds out that the school's swim team bullies are the ones who tied up Pugsley, so she lets the piranhas go in the pool. As the bullies run away scared, she says that only she can tease her brother. Later, we see her parents, Morticia and Gomez. They're tired of Wednesday's strange behavior. They decide she should go to Nevermore Academy. This special school is for kids with unique powers, and they learn to control them there. It's also hinted that her parents went to the same school and have their own powers. Not far from the academy, a man is walking in the woods. But something attacks and kills him very quickly. The town's sheriff finds the man and sees that this isn't the first time something like this has happened. When Wednesday gets to the academy, the head of the school, Principal Larissa Weems, welcomes her. Wednesday also meets her new roommate, Enid. Enid is a werewolf and is very different from Wednesday. While Enid's side of the room is bright and lively, Wednesday's is all dark and gothic. Also we meet Marilyn Thornhill, who is a botany teacher at Nevermore Academy and dorm mother of Wednesday and Enid. Enid then shows Wednesday around the school. She tells her about the 4 main groups: the Fangs, vampires; the Furs, werewolves; the Stoners, beings with snakes for hair; and the Scales, tricky sirens. Enid also points out the most popular girl at the school, Bianca Barkley, and her former boyfriend Xavier Thorpe. Xavier has a special skill: whatever he draws can become real. As Wednesday's family drives away, her father Gomez lets go of Thing, a hand that's alive all by itself. This hand is supposed to watch over Wednesday for her parents. On her next day, Wednesday goes to a fencing lesson. Here, she competes against Bianca. They both are equally good, and after a while, they decide to take off their masks and the first one to make the other bleed wins. They fight hard, but in the end, Bianca manages to leave a small cut on Wednesday's face. After this, Wednesday has a bad accident. A stone statue almost falls on her, but Xavier is there just in time to save her. Upon awakening, Wednesday meets Xavier. He says that they have known each other since childhood and that she saved his life back then. Back in her room, Wednesday feels like someone is watching her. She looks around and finds Thing, the hand. She understands her parents sent it and warns Thing to be loyal to her or she'll lock it away. Thing, scared, promises to behave. Wednesday needs to see a therapist named Dr. Valerie Kinbot. Principal Larissa takes her to a town nearby called Jericho for this. But when Wednesday gets there, she doesn't want to talk. Instead, she makes an excuse and escapes through a window. Outside, she bumps into a man and sees a vision of his death. Scared, she heads to a coffee place. In the cafe, she meets Tyler, a young man who works there and is the son of the sheriff. Tyler is trying to fix a coffee machine with Italian instructions. Luckily, Wednesday understands Italian, so she helps him out. She asks if he can give her a lift to the bus station. But before he can answer, some bullies dressed like old-time pilgrims come in and start teasing Wednesday. She tries to ignore them at first, but soon fights back and takes them down. Soon, Principal Larissa and the sheriff come into the cafe and see the mess. Principal Larissa is angry with Wednesday and takes her away from the town. As they're driving back to the academy, they see a bad car crash. The man in the crash is the same one from Wednesday's earlier vision. That night, at the academy's dorm, Wednesday plays a sad song on her cello. With the full moon shining, sounds of werewolves can be heard, but Enid, though a werewolf, tells Wednesday she doesn't turn into one. At the same time, Thing goes to Tyler's room and asks him to talk to Wednesday on a video call. Even though Tyler is scared, he does it. Wednesday asks Tyler to meet her at the harvest fair the next day. She says it'll be fun, but she really just wants to leave the academy. But at the fair, Larissa is watching Wednesday. Still, Wednesday and Tyler manage to find each other. Suddenly, Wednesday bumps into a schoolmate, Rowan. He quickly runs away, and when she touches him, she gets a vision that he'll be killed by a beast. Frightened, she tries to warn him. But before she can, Rowan, who has powers to move things with his mind, stops her. He tells her that his mom, who had strong vision powers, saw Wednesday destroying the academy years ago. Rowan thinks he must stop her, so he starts using his power to hurt her. Just then, a big creature comes out, attacks Rowan, and then disappears. Wednesday is left with the hurt Rowan and finds a picture from his mom. Not long after, the police come, led by the sheriff, looking for Rowan. They don't find him and don't believe Wednesday's story about the monster. While talking, an officer comes in with news that Rowan is still alive. Wednesday sees a therapist and doesn't even run away like last time. Tyler's outside waiting for her. Tyler says he believes her story. Wednesday sees Enid getting ready for a boat game event. She tries to talk to Rowan, but Principal Larissa says he's been kicked out for reasons she won't say. Wednesday asks Xavier about Rowan during archery. Next, Wednesday meets beekeeper Eugene Ottinger. Wednesday manages to see Rowan after all. She tries to find out where he got the drawing. Rowan doesn't remember anything and says that he just went to get some air. Thing clings to the car to follow Rowan. Rowan is at a train place, and Thing is following him, looking around. He slips into the toilet and changes his look to appear as an old man. Thing, not seeing this, loses him. Later, the old man turns into Larissa, the head of the school. Not knowing where to turn, Wednesday heads to the forest to search for clues about what happened to Rowan. Tyler, following his dad, joins her. In the woods, she finds Rowan's glasses. When she holds them, she sees a vision of a purple book. This book had the drawing Rowan showed her. She quickly asks her teacher about this book. The teacher tells her it's from an old school club called the Nightshades, but they aren't around anymore. After class, Wednesday sneaks into Rowan's room to find the book. Instead, she finds a mask. But before she can leave, Xavier comes in. Turns out, he shares the room with Rowan. She hides quickly when Bianca, Xavier's ex, comes in. Listening to them, she finds out Bianca plans to make fun of Enid at the boat race. Back in her room, Wednesday decides to help Enid win the race against Bianca. They get ready for the next day's boat race. With no set rules, it's a free-for-all, and Bianca plans to use that. Teams have to row their boats to a spot and come back. The first team back without falling in the water wins. As the race starts, Bianca nods to her friend about messing up other boats. This friend, who's a mermaid, jumps in the water and breaks one of the boats, making that team lose. But Wednesday and Enid are ready. With Thing's help, they catch the mermaid. During the race, Wednesday has another vision. She sees herself but with blonde hair, telling her she's important. When she wakes up from the vision, Bianca's team is in the lead. But Wednesday and Enid aren't giving up. They decide to play smart to win. Using Bianca's own sneaky moves against her, they manage to win the race. This is the first time in 40 years a team without a siren has taken the top prize. After the race, Principal Larissa gives the trophy to Enid. But Wednesday feels a bit too much in the spotlight and finds a quiet spot with a statue of Edgar Allan Poe, an old student of the academy. She sees a mark under a stone book the statue is holding. It's the same one from Rowan's drawing he gave her before his attack. Figuring out some riddles on the book, she finds a hint: snap twice. Doing that, a hidden door appears. Inside, she finds the book Rowan took his drawing from. But before she can do more, a dark bag is put over her head. When it's taken off, she's with Bianca, Xavier, and some others. They are all in the Nightshades group, which Larissa had secretly brought back. Xavier asks if Wednesday wants to join, but she says no and leaves. Later, Principal Larissa talks about an outreach day. It's a day when students from Nevermore work with regular folks, or normies, in their jobs. Wednesday tells Xavier about her thoughts on Rowan's possible death. But Xavier says Rowan's just kicked out of school, not dead. Still, she shows him the drawing from Rowan's mom. On it, Xavier finds a picture of Jericho's founder, Joseph Crackstone. Wednesday was originally assigned to Uriah's heap. However, she trades with Enid and travels to Pilgrim World, saying that her crush Ajax would be in Uriah's heap. It's an antique shop, and there we see Enid and Ajax. In Pilgrim World, her friend, Eugene from the Bee Club, is also there. They chat and look around. Miss Arlene, the one in charge, comes over to give them a tour. She talks about Joseph Crackstone's old things. Wednesday asks about some items, learning they have old farm tools and other old stuff, even an old pot. She'd like to work there, but it's closed for fixes. So, they'll help out at the old fudgery, giving out sweets to visitors. Wednesday steps in for Eugene and drives the pilgrims away. At the cafe, the town mayor thanks Principal Weems for donating to his campaign. Later on, with Eugene's help, Wednesday sneaks into the Crackstone family room. She finds a painting there that shows the girl she's seen in her visions. Then, she spots a book the girl had, but the pages are empty. She thinks it's a fake. Just then, Arlene, the one who looks after the place, finds her. Wednesday asks about the real book. Arlene says it was taken a month ago. Wednesday and Tyler meet up at a cafe. Tyler says the remains of the old meeting house, linked to Joseph Crackstone, are in the forest. But now, it's just an old place where some people hang out. Eager to find it, Wednesday and Thing head into the trees. They find the spot and see a man there, but Thing scares him off. Suddenly, Wednesday has a vision. She goes back 400 years. She sees the blonde girl from before, with people calling her evil. Joseph Crackstone comes forward and names her Goody Addams. He blames her for using dark magic. They want to kill her in a barn with others they think are bad, like her mom. Goody says they're the real bad ones, taking land and hurting people. Angry, Joseph sets the barn on fire. Goody can't save her mom but finds a way out. As this happens, Wednesday is there, watching. A voice tells her that Joseph won't stop until he gets rid of all of them. The vision ends, and Wednesday tells Thing all about it. They get a shock when they spot the beast that attacked Roland. Wednesday tries to chase it in the rain but can't catch it. Following its steps, she sees they change to look more like a person's. This hints that the beast might be a man. She meets Xavier and wants to show him, but the rain has made the footprints disappear. The following day, everyone meets in the town center to show off a new statue for Joseph Crackstone. As the mayor and Larissa talk about the statue, Wednesday joins the Jericho band to play a song by Fleetwood Mac. But then, on Wednesday's signal, Thing lights the statue on fire. People run scared, but Wednesday just plays her cello fast and looks happy. Principal Larissa later gets mad at Wednesday, thinking she did it. But the young girl says she didn't and asks Larissa why she doesn't talk about the bad history of Jericho. That night, the beast attacks the man from before, and his camera catches it all. When the sheriff finds the man's body in the woods, he also finds the camera. The pictures show a scary monster. Wednesday and Thing visit the town's dead body place because Wednesday wants to look for more clues on the dead man. She writes down what she sees. But when the sheriff and the body man come in, she hides. They talk about the man's foot missing 2 toes. When the body man finds a door a bit open later, he sees Wednesday hiding. But she's so good at acting dead that he doesn't know she's alive. The story then goes to a class with Miss Thornhill where the kids are happy about the coming Raven dance. Xavier tells Wednesday, but she doesn't want to go. She notices a strange cut on his neck, and doubts it's from fencing. She later looks in Xavier's art place and finds drawings of the beast. She takes some and runs out. Outside, Xavier finds her, but he doesn't think she did anything wrong. He just asks if she will ask him to the dance. Wednesday invites Xavier to the dance, hiding her real reason for visiting his art room. Then she shows the sheriff the drawings she took from Xavier. When the sheriff compares a drawing with a picture from the dead man's camera, they match. The sheriff tells her to find more proof, and she starts to think Xavier might be behind it because he can make his art real by his ability. At the same time, Enid meets Lucas, the mayor's boy, at a cafe. He asks her to the Raven dance, and she says yes. Tyler, who likes Wednesday, also wants to go to the dance with her. But Wednesday says she's too busy, even if it hurts him. She later talks with Eugene in their B club. Showing him Xavier's drawings, Eugene thinks one looks like a cave he knows. He takes her there, and they find a big nail in the wall. Going back to Xavier's room, she finds a cloth with blood and puts it in her bag. But Xavier comes in and sees her. He's mad because he thinks she tricked him. He says the scary creature from the drawing has been in his dreams and once hurt him. Kicking her out, Wednesday then gives the nail and bloody cloth to the sheriff to test. Thing writes a sorry note on Wednesday's machine and gives it to Tyler in the cafe. It's time for the Raven dance. While others get ready, Wednesday wants to learn more about the cave with Eugene. But then Tyler comes to her house with a note. Thing, it seems, told him to come to the dance with Wednesday and even got a pretty black dress for her. At first, Wednesday is mad at Thing for not asking her. But when she sees the dress, she's happy. When Tyler sees Wednesday in her dress, he is amazed. But Eugene is upset that she changed their plans. She promises him they'll look more tomorrow and says he should stay away from the woods. But he doesn't listen and goes by himself. At the party, everyone is shocked at how good Wednesday looks. Xavier comes up to her and talks about problems with the sheriff's son. Wednesday then tells Tyler about it. She learns Tyler used to be friends with some mean kids. They once hurt Xavier and ruined his art. Tyler says he's changed now. Wednesday says she doesn't blame him and might have done worse. Lucas sends a message to his friends. They want to get back at some people for something that happened to a statue. Then, Wednesday dances in a way that shocks everyone. In the woods, Eugene sees someone trying to burn the cave. Lucas and his friends make red paint pour from above. The whole floor gets slippery, and people are scared. Suddenly, Wednesday has a vision of Eugene being scared and maybe dying. She runs to the woods to find him. But she's too late. A scary creature gets to him first. When she finds him, he's hurt very bad. Miss Thornhill, their teacher, comes and asks if he's okay. Wednesday reviews his father's police report. 32 years ago, a young Larissa discovered a dead body in a place called Nevermore Courtyard. There's also a young Gomez with a sword, all wet and covered in red. The police take Gomez away, and young Morticia says she loves him even more when he's in trouble with the law. Fast forward to today, and it's parents' weekend at Nevermore. Gomez, Morticia, Pugsley, and Lurch make their entrance. Principal Larissa welcomes everyone. Enid gets a surprise when her werewolf family shows up. Her mom Esther isn't happy that Enid isn't using her wolf powers. Gomez and Morticia talk with Wednesday about how she's doing at school. Gabrielle, Bianca's mom, also comes to the event. Morticia looks at an old yearbook and remembers good times. She thinks of a talent show where Larissa did a great act as Judy Garland. Larissa tells the Addams they should see a therapist together. They say yes. Sheriff Galpin is at a cafe, talking on the phone about some DNA tests. He sees the Addams car. Then he gets bad news about Dr. Anwar, who took his own life. The Addams family meets with Dr. Valerie for a talk. Everyone says they miss Wednesday. But she has questions. She found a police file and wants to know about a man named Garrett Gates. She asks why Gomez was involved in his death. Morticia gets angry. She says the case is old and was dropped. She's upset and leaves. Pugsley manages to get a bowl of candy. Wednesday says she will find out more, whether her mom likes it or not. This conversation is being watched by Pugsley and Gomez. Elsewhere, Bianca and Gabrielle talk in a cafe. Gabrielle has a secret group where she takes people's money. Her power to trick people isn't working as well anymore. She's married to a man Bianca doesn't like. They want Bianca to come back to the group. If she doesn't, Gabrielle will tell everyone Bianca didn't get into the school fairly. Next, Wednesday goes to see Eugene in the hospital. He's very hurt and not awake. She feels bad because she thinks it's her fault he got hurt by the creature. Eugene's moms come by and are thankful to Wednesday for being a friend to their son since he didn't have any before. At another place, the sheriff is at the morgue looking into Dr. Anwar's death. Dr. Anwar left behind a note saying he was sorry for faking papers in an old murder case. But a camera there was messed up with black stuff, so it's hard to see what happened. The sheriff thinks Dr. Anwar felt bad about changing things in the Gomez/Garrett case. He thinks he can now put Gomez in jail. After this, Wednesday and Morticia visit Garrett's resting place and put a red flower there. But suddenly, Sheriff Galpin comes in and takes Gomez away while they're all having a meal. Everyone is shocked to see Gomez getting arrested. Later, Wednesday and her small friend Thing visit Gomez in jail. He tells her that Garrett was acting crazy over Morticia and was following her around. Morticia tried to get help, but when things got too heated, Gomez had to step in. After hearing all this, Wednesday isn't sure if her dad did something wrong. Wednesday visits the sheriff and says that her father is innocent and they want to stop her from investigating. The sheriff says that the world doesn't revolve around her and that the monster and Xavier's DNA results don't match. At the same time, Enid gets a pamphlet from her mom about a camp that wants to turn her into a werewolf because she hasn't changed yet. She doesn't want to go. Wednesday finds Pugsley and tells him he forgot his fishing kit. She gives him some bait and asks him to see if he's biting. When Wednesday goes to see Morticia, she learns more about that night long ago. Morticia says she saw Garrett acting strange and mad, so when Gomez tried to calm him down, she had to defend herself and hurt him. Gomez took the blame for her, and this made Morticia hide. Larissa found what happened. Wednesday thinks maybe Garrett was sick because of how he was acting. So, she and Morticia decide to look more into it and go to a graveyard. They want to see Garrett's grave to find proof. But while they're there, the police catch them and put them in jail with Gomez. But Wednesday was able to get something from the grave, a blue-colored finger that looks like it was touched by Nightshade. Morticia realized that when she hurt Garrett, he was already not alive. He had been touched by Nightshade poison. Suddenly, Wednesday has a vision where Garrett's dad tells him to use Nightshade poison on everyone at Nevermore. They see a bottle of this poison being passed between them. Wednesday thinks the bottle broke and hurt Garrett. After they are free, Wednesday and Morticia talk to Mayor Walker. Morticia tells him he tried to hide the truth when she told him about Garrett following her around. Wednesday shows him the poisoned finger of Garrett. They tell the mayor to let Gomez go or they will tell everyone he lied. The mayor agrees and Gomez is free. Even Sheriff Galpin says sorry to Gomez. At the same time, Enid tells her mom to wait for her to change into a werewolf when it's the right time. As the parent-teacher weekend ends, Wednesday says goodbye to her family. But she learns something about the school's head, Larissa, from an old book. Larissa can change how she looks. She pretended to be someone else to hide a bad thing. Larissa says she wanted to keep the school safe. But then, they hear loud noises and see a message outside the school. It says there will be fire. Wednesday then tries to talk to her old family member, Goody Addams, to help with her special powers. While she's doing this, Enid comes in and they talk. A note is left for them. It tells Wednesday to come to a special place at night for answers. When she goes there with Enid, it's a birthday party for her. She sees words on a fireplace that look like the words outside the school. Everyone sings to her for her birthday. She sees Goody in a vision, warning her about dangers linked to cracked stones. Goody can't directly help with Wednesday's special powers but hints she should look into the old house nearby. That house holds clues. Elsewhere, school head Larissa meets the mayor. She wants help finding who left a fiery message at the school. The mayor promises help and also shares news about ongoing investigations into recent troubles. At school, Xavier joins Wednesday looking at the fire message. Xavier talks about her vision in the crypt, but she doesn't share much, thinking he might be involved in the troubles. Later, Wednesday visits Eugene, who's still not awake. Dr. Valerie enters with flowers, saying Eugene's moms wanted a checkup while they're away. When Dr. Valerie tries to talk, Wednesday leaves. The mayor gets more information, a paper showing that Garrett's sister died while out of the country. He thinks it might link to the recent problems. Wednesday visits Tyler, who hopes to celebrate her birthday. She's not interested, as usual. She tells the sheriff about findings from the crypt. He asks her to stop her search. Later, she and Thing visit Xavier's art place. She shows a drawing of the old house from her vision. Xavier has a similar picture, saying he dreamt about it. The house once belonged to the Gates family. Next day, Wednesday sees the mayor at that house. She hears his phone talk with the sheriff and quickly gets into his car with Thing. He thinks he knows the person behind the attacks. So, he sets a meet with the sheriff at a cafe. Driving there, he doesn't know that Wednesday and Thing are in the back of his car. But, as he walks to the cafe, a blue Cadillac hits him. After this, the sheriff gets Wednesday's story. She says she was in the mayor's car to find out what he knew about the Gates mansion. Back at school, the head tells off Wednesday and stops her going to town. The next day, she rings Tyler. She says she'll go on that date after all. But really, she wants to look more into things. She gets Enid to leave school with her, saying they'll celebrate her birthday again. Outside, Tyler's waiting. Xavier, at their schoolroom, sees Thing writing. Thing tells him where they're headed. So, they all go to the Gates house. Enid and Tyler are surprised. They thought it was a date and a girls' night. Still, they go in with Wednesday. Inside, Wednesday spots the blue car that hit the mayor. Next, they find a portrait of the Gates family. Deeper in, she finds a fresh altar for someone named Joseph Crackstone. They all split to search the big, spooky house. Soon after, Wednesday finds Enid. They find a neat bedroom. On a table, Wednesday finds a music box. It has the letters LG Laurel Gates. That's the same name from the mayor's file. Suddenly, Tyler shouts. He warns of a beast. The girls run from it, ending up in a dark basement. There, they see grim trophies, bits from the beast's kills. They need to leave, fast. They find Tyler outside, hurt but alive, with big scratch marks. Just then, Xavier comes and helps with Tyler's wounds. After taking Tyler home, the sheriff comes in and tells the Nevermore kids to go. Wednesday then brings the sheriff back to the Gates place. But everything is gone, including the trophies and beast. The sheriff thinks she's making it up and gets mad because she put his son at risk. She can't see Tyler now. Returning home, she is met by Principal Weems. She says that Wednesday disobeyed orders and left the school grounds at night, putting herself and her classmates in danger. Wednesday shows Rowan's drawing and says she is destined to save the school. Larissa gives her another chance. Back in her room, Wednesday checks the music box from the house. Pictures fall out, showing her family and friends. In another place, someone with gloves stops the mayor's life support. Next, we see the mayor's funeral. Wednesday thinks the bad guy is there. She spots a mysterious person and follows them. It's Uncle Fester. He says he got here this morning and he needs to lay low. She takes him to Eugene's barn place. Uncle Fester wants to eat the bees, but Wednesday forbids it. They chat about what she's dealing with. Fester says the beast she's looking for is called Hyde. A long time ago, the Nevermore School's founder, Faulkner, learned a lot about these hides. Fester says there's a book about it in a place called Nightshade's library. That night, they sneak in and take the book. Reading it, Wednesday finds out about hides. They are normal folks until something changes them. This can be achieved via trauma, chemical inducement, or hypnosis. In that case, the hide becomes bound to the person who awoke them, named Master. The next day, she watches Xavier, thinking he might be Hyde. She and Fester follow him with the navigation and on motorcycle in helmets with Dalmatians. They see him meet with Dr. Kinbot in the woods. She thinks the doctor is the Master. But when she goes to tell the head of the school, the doctor is there, so she doesn't say anything. Later, at the cafe, she shows Tyler the book. Tyler's dad sees them but is too caught up searching for Fester, linked to a bank theft. Even with his dad around, Tyler asks Wednesday for a date. They decide to meet in the cracked stone crypt. That night, Wednesday leaves the diary with Thing and goes on the date. Tyler decorated the crypt very nicely. He tells her to close her eyes to reveal the surprise. He asks her if she likes horror movies. And he shows her the movie Legally Blonde. She says it's pure torture. He wants to be more than just pals, but she's hesitant. As they get close, the sheriff and his team show up, hunting for Fester. After the chaos, she goes back to her room to find it a mess and the diary gone. Someone harmed Thing, pinning him to the wall. In panic, she takes Thing to Fester. He uses electricity to bring Thing back to life. Then she tells her uncle to leave since the cops are near. The next day, Bianca and Lucas tell her they know something about the mayor's death. From his dad's laptop, Lucas thinks his dad knew who Laurel was and was about to tell when she killed him. They find out that an old lady, linked to the Gates house, had a caretaker with a name tied to Laurel. This suggests Laurel came back to Jericho for revenge, targeting people like Wednesday's family and the mayor. Wednesday now thinks the killer is Dr. Valerie Kinbot. The doctor is confused and thinks Wednesday's lost it. After Wednesday leaves, the doctor calls the school head to complain. But while on the call, she hears noise. When she checks, the Hyde monster attacks her. Later, Wednesday and Larissa wait in the hospital, and the sheriff tells them about the doctor's death. Wednesday makes up her mind to confront Xavier in his hidden art space. She's struck by the precision of his sketches, showcasing the hive monster. Xavier insists he's innocent. Suddenly, the sheriff and his team barge in, having found items from the victims in the studio. They detain Xavier, who claims he's set up, but no one trusts him. Later, at a coffee spot, Wednesday and Tyler share a kiss. But a strong vision interrupts her. She sees Dr. Kinbot, dead, with Tyler standing over her, changing from the monster back to human form. Realizing Xavier might be innocent, she leaves in a hurry, leaving Tyler confused. That evening, she lures Tyler to the forest, making him think it's a date. She confronts him, believing he's the hive monster. While Tyler denies it, some members from Nightshade, including Bianca and Yoko, appear to help Wednesday. They tie Tyler in the art studio. Wednesday thinks Tyler got the Hyde genes from his mom. He says his mom had severe mood swings but admits she was a Hyde. Tyler keeps refusing the accusations. Yet, Wednesday believes causing him pain might save him. She gets 2 tasers, which makes the students uneasy. As she begins, the others step away, not wanting to take part. At the same time, the sheriff listens to recordings of Dr. Kinbot's talks with Tyler, realizing he was her patient too. She mentions Tyler's mom's passing affected him more than thought. The sheriff gets a call about Tyler's abduction. Bianca and the group told the principal about the situation. The sheriff and his team rush into the studio, stopping Wednesday before Tyler is hurt more. Both are taken to the police. Principal Larissa says Galpin won't face charges for kidnapping. As Wednesday is leaving, Tyler asks to talk. He admits to his actions, telling her he liked seeing fear in his victims. He hints something big is coming. The principal thinks it's too much and tells Wednesday she must leave school next day. Wednesday tries convincing her she needs more time to show Tyler's true self. The principal says no, expressing her disappointment in Wednesday. She goes to the jail to see Javier and says she knows he's not Hyde, and asks him to help her because he has a mental connection to him. Javier says no. After, Wednesday says goodbye to Enid. She also warns Bianca and the Nightshade group about Tyler. Miss Thornhill gifts her a white oleander, wishing her the best. Before leaving, Wednesday visits Eugene, who's awake from his coma. Surrounded by bee-themed gifts, the beekeeping club friends reunite. Wednesday thinks Dr. Kinbot set the Hyde cave on fire and controlled Tyler, but Eugene remembers someone in a black coat and red boots. Wednesday realizes she's seen Miss Thornhill in red boots. Back at school, Wednesday faces Miss Thornhill, really Laurel Gates, in the conservatory. Miss Thornhill tries brushing off the claims but gets more frustrated. Wednesday tells her Tyler shared everything. She talks about Miss Thornhill's dark plans, using plants to activate Tyler's Hyde side. Tyler, now seeing her as his master, watches silently. When Wednesday confronts her with the truth, Miss Thornhill admits and tells Tyler to attack Wednesday. But it's not Tyler. It's Principal Larissa, who's changed her look to appear as the boy. Quickly, she asks Miss Thornhill, also known as Laurel, to cooperate. Caught off guard, Miss Thornhill injects Larissa with a deadly nightshade poison. Larissa sadly passes away shortly after. With a swift move, Miss Thornhill uses a shovel to knock Wednesday unconscious. In another scene, Eugene calls Enid, warning them about Miss Thornhill's true nature. While he says Wednesday and Larissa already went to challenge her, Enid says she'll search the conservatory for them. Thing then rushes in, telling Enid about Wednesday's abduction. Eugene's mom says to call the sheriff. Eugene goes to help. Above them, a blood moon starts to rise. When Wednesday regains consciousness, she's chained inside the crypt. Miss Thornhill shares her plot to destroy the school and her desire to bring Crackstone back using parts she took from Tyler's victims. The curse that Goody placed on Crackstone is revealed, and Miss Thornhill wants to use Wednesday, a direct descendant of Goody, to unlock it. She's chosen the night of the blood moon for this dark ritual. At the same time, the sheriff, thinking of taking Xavier to jail, changes his plan when he learns from a deputy about unusual happenings at Nevermore. Back in the crypt, Miss Thornhill conducts the ritual using Wednesday's blood, which awakens Crackstone. As he threatens vengeance, he injures Wednesday and leaves her to die. However, Goody's spirit appears, instructing her to use a special necklace her mom gave her. This will allow Goody to heal her, but with the price of never seeing Goody again. Wednesday agrees and is healed. Back at the academy, Enid teams up with Bianca and the Nightshades in their secret room. She proposes that they use their powers to evacuate the school. She also plans to search the forest for Wednesday, with Thing's help. As she sets off, Enid starts to morph into a werewolf, determined to rescue Wednesday on this critical night. In the forest, the sheriff reconsiders and chooses to find his son. He ventures deeper with Xavier confined in his vehicle. Luckily, Thing releases Xavier. As Wednesday speeds off to confront Crackstone post-healing, she encounters Tyler. Turning into the hive monster, he lunges at her, but Enid, now a full werewolf, defends Wednesday. Crackstone, reaching the school, starts wreaking havoc. The intense face-off between the werewolf Enid and the hive monster becomes brutal. Emerging victorious, Enid reverts to human form just as Thing approaches. The sheriff then finds Tyler, unconscious and bloodied among fallen leaves. Armed with her father's blade, Wednesday tries to challenge Crackstone but struggles due to his might. Xavier's attempt to intervene by shooting an arrow goes awry, with the arrow redirected at him. Wednesday bravely steps in, taking the hit. Standing up, she begins a fierce fight. She breaks her blade against his staff. Crackstone wins, but Bianca distracts him. Undeterred, Wednesday recalls Goody's advice, using a broken piece of her sword to pierce Crackstone's heart, causing him to disappear. The battle isn't over, Miss Thornhill rushes in with a weapon. At this critical juncture, Eugene appears, commanding his swarm of bees to assail her. With the threat neutralized, the school's safety is ensured. Enid meets up with the other students who'd taken refuge in the forest, and she and Wednesday share a heartfelt hug. The Addams family's butler, Lurch, is seen packing up Wednesday's stuff, signaling the suspension of classes for the term. Wednesday and Enid say goodbye to Larissa. Saying goodbye to her friends, Wednesday notices Xavier above her. Handing her a phone, he saves his number on it. Lurch drives Wednesday back home. Receiving an eerie message from an anonymous source, she's shown pictures indicating she's being watched. Elsewhere, an armored vehicle is spotted with a restrained Tyler inside. Suddenly, he stirs, starting his transformation back into the hive monster.